everyone. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackel, along with Vicki Radd, our Director of Planning and Economic Development. We're here to kind of announce the Phase 2 of Macomb County Cares for Small Businesses, our CARES funds that we got from the federal government, 250.2 or 0.5 million, 152.5 million. So with that being said, our first phase, we were very successful, got 3,600 businesses that applied for $5,000 grants.
Overwhelming.
And we had like 3,600 businesses. Checks are still being cut for that. We know people are still saying, where's my check? It's coming. We're still going through a process that we have to go through according to our auditors and our finance department. So Vicki and her crew are working on it, but we have released Phase 2, which actually starts today, and we're moving into that. But before Vicki gets to that, I just want to kind of get people to understand about our businesses here in Macomb County, how we've been embracing them. We know there's been two challenges that have been going on simultaneously. Obviously the health crisis that's going on, but the economic crisis as well. And it's not just affecting Macomb County, the state, the country, it's global. And so with that, our businesses here in Macomb County have always wanted to be part of the solution. They're asking for the PPE kits that we're providing them at macombgov.org. But the reason they're asking is because they want to keep their employees safe. They want to keep the patrons of their facilities or the people that come to their businesses safe. So they are being part of the solution. And how so? Well, let me just show you this here. If you remember at the onset, March 13th is when we had our very first recorded case, a positive case here in Macomb County. And from that, numbers just took off. And so we realized in March, we had an incredible impact in the number of deaths. And that was since March 13th. So it's almost like half of a month. Then when we had the full month of April, wow, the numbers were staggering. I mean, you think about it, nearly 600 deaths and the number of cases about 3,500. Then we started with these stay home, stay safe orders. Executive orders came into play, shutting down economy and all that in that April timeframe. And then we started opening back up. We started opening the economy back up, and then eventually we even got rid of the stay home, stay safe order on behalf of the governor's office. Well, if you look at what's been happening, when businesses are opening, we started realizing, even with the stay safe, stay home order being kind of dissolved, you start seeing that there's been less of an impact on the number of cases and the number of deaths. And I think it's because at the beginning of this, when it was a crisis, when it was an emergency, there wasn't a lot of direction. There was no CDC guidelines. Hospital systems weren't prepared. We didn't have PPE for folks. There was issues talking about ventilators in our hospitals. Even our health department didn't have the staffing for contact tracing. Well, that's not the case today. We understand CDC guidelines. There has been an incredible, I guess, if you will, response by our hospital systems, so much so that they're doing elective surgeries now. And PPE are all in place, guidelines are in place. We've been working with our businesses even as they've opened. So we're here to try to figure out how do we continue to embrace our businesses and lift them up and try to be a partner with them as they open up and be responsible in doing so. And they want to be responsible in doing so, and we're managing that. We know it's not going to go away. We know there's still going to be some cases. We're fortunate here in Macomb County, over the last 9 days, we haven't recorded one death. But we know there's still going to be positive cases. We're testing more people than we've ever tested before. And with that being said, our numbers are down, the curve has flattened. We're not here to try to figure out how do we threaten businesses with shutting them down or taking a step back. We want to continue to work with them as they continue to move forward. And so with that, we know they've been challenged, and that's been a financial challenge. Challenged with trying to figure out how do they get their employees back to work. Challenged to find these PPEs. So our planning department, led by Vicki, had done an incredible job in our emergency management along with the health department. And so with that, we know that there is going to be an uptick, and we're prepared to handle that with our health department, planning department, and even our emergency management. We're going to get through that, but we think we need to figure out how do we deal with this dual crisis, health as well as economic at the same time. And Vicki has done a masterful job along with her staff to try to figure out how do we engage businesses to keep them going, to keep them thriving. And so Phase 1 went very well, Vicki, and now you're on Phase 2.
We are on Phase 1. You know, our small businesses are the heart of Macomb County. About 95% of our businesses do fall under that small business realm. Phase 1, we looked at employee headcount 50 and less, which that is the majority of our businesses. Phase 2 is looking at 50 plus employees, 50 to 500 in fact. The application is open now. It is live. It goes through July 22nd till 5 p.m. You'll find the application online at macombgov.org. You click on the link. You want to look for this. It's 50 plus. Click on that. There's 3 things you're going to want to provide. You're going to want to provide a W-9, which is an IRS form. Make sure that comes signed back to us. A utility bill. This could be a mortgage payment. It could be a lease payment, a phone bill, electric bill, some type of utility payment that showcases the address that you're physically located at. And the third piece is a signed affidavit, just basically stating that everything you've provided is truthful. Once you get those 3 documents, you upload it, submit it to us, and then we will process it on our end.
And you've made it very simple, and I say that because even the first process, out of the 3,600 that applied for the $5,000 grant to 49 or less employees, there were very few calls that you had to, I guess, engage with because it was very simple, very easy to understand online. So you've done a great job with that, even though there is still access to get a hold of our planning department if you do happen to have a question, but it's all online. You don't need to download a form and then send it to us or whatever. You can do it just online, and fortunately, we'll go through those. We think there's about 1,100 employers that qualify for this $10,000 funding that's coming. But with that is phase 2. As Vicki had mentioned, it's open right now. You can go to the website, macombgov.org, click on the icon, get the forms and information to fill out and submit it to us. It is taking a little bit of time because we have to follow auditors' guidelines. We have to follow our finance department and the work. So phase 1, we're still writing those checks. The money is still being looked at to get out there. Many have already been written. And phase 2 will be the same process as we finally close on the, what is the last date, 27th?
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Okay, so you have till July 22nd to apply for this. Some are going to ask, well, what about some of these nonprofits? What about some of the hospitals? What about people that aren't a brick and mortar? What if they're doing something that's more home-based? We are going to get to that. There are a lot of other businesses we understand here in Macomb County that are important to us, and we're going to try to figure out how do we provide some of that funding we got. We set aside $70 million of that $152.5 million we got from the federal government for businesses here in Macomb County, and we are going to work through some of those processes as well.
Absolutely, and when we look at the various phases, there's actually 3 phases to this. The first initial phase is just get money out to our businesses. We know you're hurting. There also is PPE available, the PPE Back to Business kits. Once again, go to that website, macombgov.org, click on that link for the kits. Those are available to our businesses, regardless of your business size. It does include the thermometer, it includes the gloves and the mask. It's really important that we get that out to our businesses as well. Yeah,
and well done. Again, I can't emphasize enough the work that's been done on behalf of Vicki and her planning department, our emergency management team here as well, and specifically our health department. So, as I said earlier, we're here to try to figure out how do we lift up, how do we embrace, how do we engage our businesses to keep them thriving. They've been hit hard as a result of this, along with the health crisis. We're going to continue to look at it as a dual crisis. We don't have the state of emergency here, and the reason for it, as I mentioned before, the numbers just don't justify the emergency. An emergency is specifically for when you don't understand how to put processes in place. We didn't have PPE. We didn't understand CDC guidelines. Hospitals were overwhelmed. We had to figure all that out. We've been able to do that. So we're engaging with the other branches of government to move forward, in particular dealing with our Board of Commissioners. So we're very fortunate to have processes in place, working with businesses here in Macomb County that want to be a part of the solution, and we're going to continue to engage them and work with them. And we know that we're going to get through not only the health crisis, but as well as economic crisis at some point in time here. So again, rest assured, Macomb County is working with businesses, working with the health department to try to keep you safe and to keep our economy going. So on that note, on behalf of Vicki and myself, I want to remind you to keep you and your family safe, and if you can, support your local businesses.